Welcome to this video about the evaluation feature in the Compass application. I'm going to use the Compass version 0.6.2. Also with this demo data set that is available for download on the web. You can simply download the application and the example database and follow each and every step that I'll do in this demo. So let's say you have downloaded the app image, which can be run under Linux. You've downloaded the database itself, and of course the user manual for further study. Now the first step that you have to do, you have to make this Compass application app image executable under Linux. To do that, you use the following command, change mod +X to add the executable flag, then the app image file name, enter, and you can run it. You only have to do this once. Then you can start the application simply from the console. When started, you get this application window, and you can first select which database that you want to use. Now, you already have a database. You simply want to add it. You select the file, mlot.demo.db, open, and then this file is added to the selection window, and you click on Open. On the left-hand side, now you have each and every task that can be performed on the database or has been performed. In this case, you don't need to do anything. You can already start into the application using the Start button. How you can create such databases yourself is a subject for another video. I just want to step over a few brief points. So the data has been imported from JSON data using a simulator. So at no point in this demonstration I'm going to use real-life data. Everything is simulator-based. In this data, we have several data sources. The data sources are managed using the Manage Data Sources task. And in this case, you can see which data sources exist in the database. So in this case, we have one ADSB data source, one multilateration, one radar, which is an SMR in this case, reference data, which is called GPS trail, and no tracking data. Also, already included in the database are the sector definitions, in this case only one sector, which is simply a polygon, which we're going to need for the evaluation feature itself. You can see this in the Manage Sectors task, in the Manage tab. Here we see this fra all layer, which has a number of points and an altitude maximum of 10,000 feet. So in this demo, we're going to focus on only surface evaluation data, or mostly surface evaluation data. Everything else is out of scope. The rest is not really important for this demonstration, and please may I point you to other videos if you want to know additional details. Also the user manual. Now, we have opened the database, and now we simply click on Start. Now we are met with the main window of the GUI. On the left-hand side, we see which database we are using, which database object, so data types, data source types we have. As I've said, ADSB, multilateration, radar, and reference trajectories. Then we have database filters, which we're not going to use. And we can load this data. Now, to first inspect the data, we need so-called views. The data is loaded into memory and then depicted in different views. Each has a different type and serves a different purpose. Now, first, you only have the list box view located here in the main window, which only shows, let's say, a table-like textual representation of the data inside the database. Since we have not loaded anything, there is nothing here yet. Additionally, what I would like to show then is how to add additional views. We have different additional views that we can add using this plus button on the top right. Now we can select Add in New Window to do this in a separate window. I would especially recommend using Compass in a 2-monitor setup or with a widescreen monitor. Now we can add a histogram view in a separate window. Now, this histogram view is again empty. When loaded, it will show a histogram of a single numerically variable depicting its distribution. Now we want also to add other views. We use then in the separate window the Add View button. Now we select Add Here to add it to the separate window. We add the OSG view, which is then added here, which is a geographical representation of the data. It's quite complicated, quite configurable, and very usable also. Useful rather. And I will switch to a different map to show the data with a bit more detail. Now I switch to OpenStreetMap and I lower the opacity to have the background map a bit darker. Now, for example, we can see the one sector that we have. We already discussed that in the beginning, which we can enable and disable, and that's simply a polygon enveloping the Fraport airport. Another view exists, which is the scatterplot view, which is a simple XY view showing the distribution of 2 numerical variables. Now we have added all of the views that we want. Now let's go into loading the data. We switch back to the main window and we can simply click the load button. This then starts the loading process from the database using the simulator-based generated data. Now this data is depicted in each view. In the list box view, as I've said, we have a textual representation as a table. So each target report is a single row. And we have a list of variables where we can inspect the details of the data. In the other views, for example, in the scatterplot view, we have an XY graph where we have, in this case, the default variables, the latitude and the longitude, which are in degrees. And you can zoom in and zoom out. And the data source type gives the color. In the histogram view, we have the distribution, in this case, of the time of day variable. And here we see, for example, the number of target reports in each time slot. In the OSG view, we have the geographical representation, a bit more complicated. Let's make this maybe a bit larger. And we see we have like rectangular area around the Frankfurt airport where the simulator generated data. And in this case, we have the ADS-B data in blue, the multilateration data in red, the SMR in green, and the references themselves in orange. Now, in the next video, I will show you more about the evaluation feature itself. In this first one, I just wanted to showcase the first loading of the data. Thank you.